Kia ora whānau, I'm Holley 21 now. Yeah, and this is my cool ass story, yeah. Me and my family, we've never had family portraits before. So we went and done this photo shoot with my best friend. When she sent them through, I was stunned on it because when you see it, this family was once broken. This family was not, dad was in jail, mum was out doing whatever she wanted. Kids were in Kia Ora family, and just from looking at this photo, the journey that we've all, as a family, not just for me in recovery and dad in recovery, but our whole family coming through this and seeing this photo, you would not think that anything was wrong with this, with our past. Childhood was gangs, violence, all of that stuff. I never had aspiration in life. There was nothing for me to prosper in that life. So 13 years old, my goal was to be a beneficiary because that's all I seen, because you get money for free for having kids. I was good with looking after kids. So I had my first child at 17 and I accomplished my goal, and I stayed at that goal in drugs and alcohol and gangs for so long, for a real long time. I've been struggling with addiction since I was 10 years old. I was molested and sexually abused when I was younger, which led to alcohol and marijuana, because it was the drug and you could just get it lying around because, like I said, mum always drank. So when I got married, my daughter was raped, which just triggered this thing inside of me. I can't explain it, but alcohol didn't work anymore. I couldn't suppress that anymore. And then meth came along, and then meth made me feel like I could be a mum without crying, without feeling the guilt that part of what had happened to her was my fault. For me, there was no, I don't want to stop. I need this to live. I'm going to die smoking crack. I'm either going to get shot, killed, or arrested. I had no reason to live anymore. I had failed as a mum. Because I let that happen to my daughter, I failed as a mum, so my kids don't need me. I'll just fail them. I'll just keep failing them. And then when they got taken out of my care, see, failure. And there was no stopping. There was no stopping. If I didn't get arrested, I probably wouldn't even be here. I probably wouldn't be here just because I didn't know how to heal the trauma as a little girl. I carried with me until I got here. And well, for me, because I had done almost 2 years in jail, I was clean. I didn't need help. I'm sober now. I don't need help. I'm fine. Yeah, no. It took me about a couple of months to actually grasp that, shoot, I do need help. I do have childhood traumas that I had stuck in this box that I needed to let out, because these were the triggers that were making me go and smoke this, drink that, do this and do that. And once I got over myself and thought, okay, you do need the help, what they're offering is what I needed, that's when everything just, okay, all cards out on the table, let's go, let's do this. And then they made me talk about it, and I was like, bro, I don't want to talk about this. And they're like, but you need to. I was like, and I cried and I cried and I cried. And it just starts from that trauma, from that child, that little girl that you don't want anyone to know was hurt. So you grow up and you try and be this big person that you're not, but you're hurt. And then you get to a place like rehab, and then they say, let that little girl out, but you don't want to, but you have to, because this little girl is holding you back. Her trauma is holding you back from being the best that you can. And once you let that little girl out, you allow her to, you can go now. I get it. Yeah, okay, I don't want to hold this burden anymore. I forgive you. I love you. And you can move forward. Yeah. And it was here at that point that I realized that everything I've been through, my journey, my story, is to help our rangatahi. That's my passion, is to work with our rangatahi. And because of being able to do my treatment here at the family centre with my 3 kids, it allowed me to not only work on myself, but work towards that goal. So when I got out of rehab, I took 2 years off. This was in my safety plan. I took 2 years off to build the foundation of my own family, of my own kids, get to know them again, because we were like strangers. I was coming home to these grown kids, and we had so long apart. After that 2 years was up, it was time to go and get a job. I had my level 4 for youth work because, again, rangatahi is my passion. and I applied here at Odyssey, and now I work with kids, 5 to 13. When I first got in, I was like, well, I want to work with teenagers. But I realized that in the job that I'm working in, if there was someone like me that does this kind of job, and I'm Kia Ora Ake, I would have already had the tools that I needed to get through my big emotions, the anxieties. It's okay to feel all of these things. Growing up and not being able to feel your emotions, that was kind of like, shut up, do you want something to cry for? But now, as we can teach these kids simple stuff of how to breathing techniques. No one, if back in my days, if you were to sigh, you got to whack. But now, if you sigh, it's okay. You're releasing an emotion or trying to navigate these big emotions that tend to lead you off to, if you don't find the tool, they tend to lead you off to addiction or something to make you hide their emotion. So for me, Odyssey was my big turning point. A lot of people don't recommend rehab, but we shouldn't see it as a rehab. You should see it as you working on yourself, because that's what I did. I come here. Well, actually, I lie. I came here as a get out of free jail card, and then I realized I couldn't leave, otherwise I have to go back to jail. So, but once you just give in to the process. Roll with the process. It's not easy. Like I'm telling you, it's not easy. But the reward at the end, the photo, that reward is that's the end goal, is happy family, happy life.